The Vexery war fleet dropped out of hyperspace with the precision of a species that had conquered 47 star systems. Admiral Crixon stood at the command bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion, watching his tactical display with 4 gleaming eyes. His mandibles clicked in satisfaction as the sensors confirmed what his scouts had reported. One ship. The humans had sent only one ship to defend the mining colony on Proxima 7. Crixon had spent 3 decades climbing the military ranks of the Vexery hegemony. He had crushed rebellions on a dozen worlds and watched entire civilizations burn beneath orbital bombardment. The humans were new to galactic politics, having achieved faster-than-light travel barely 2 centuries ago. They were children playing in the realm of gods. And children, as the Admiral knew well, were easy to break. The human vessel hung in the void like a steel splinter against the canvas of stars. It was smaller than any of the 200 warships under Crixon's command. The design was crude by Vexery standards, all hard angles and exposed hull plating. There were no elegant curves, no artistic flourishes that marked the shipbuilding traditions of civilized species. It was a machine built for function, nothing more. Communications Officer Trethax turned from his station. His antennae twitched nervously. The Admiral found this annoying. Nervousness was a weakness he did not tolerate on his bridge. Admiral, the human vessel is transmitting. They are requesting communication. Crixon made a dismissive gesture with his upper right arm. Let them speak. I wish to hear what desperation sounds like from a species facing extinction. The main view screen flickered, and a human face appeared. Crixon had studied the enemy species extensively, but seeing one directly still produced a mild sense of disgust. Their soft skin, their small eyes, their complete lack of natural armor or weapons. Evolution had clearly failed these creatures. The human on screen wore a simple gray uniform with minimal decoration. His hair was the color of iron, and deep lines marked his face. There was something in his expression that Crixon could not immediately identify. I am Captain Marcus Cole of the United Earth Navy vessel Defiance, the human said. His voice was calm, almost conversational. I am authorized to offer you one chance to withdraw from this system. Take your fleet and leave. This is not a request. The bridge crew of the Eternal Dominion erupted in clicking laughter. Even the nervous Trethax joined in the mockery. One ship demanding the withdrawal of 200. The absurdity was almost artistic. Crixon allowed himself a moment of amusement before responding. Human Captain, I admire your courage, even if I question your sanity. You are alone. Your colony below has no defensive systems. My fleet will reduce your vessel to scattered atoms within minutes of engagement. Surrender now, and I will grant your crew a quick death rather than the alternative. Captain Cole's expression did not change. If anything, there was a slight upward curve to his mouth that Crixon found unsettling. Admiral, I should inform you that this vessel is not here to negotiate. I was simply ordered to give you fair warning. The humans have a concept called sportsmanship. My superiors felt it would be unfair to destroy your fleet without at least offering you the option to survive. The laughter on the bridge died. Crixon felt his 4 eyes narrow. This was either madness or ignorance. Perhaps both. The humans clearly did not understand what they faced. 200 Vexery warships, each carrying enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. The combined fleet could sterilize entire continents in hours. You will regret this, Crixon said. Weapons free. The transmission ended. On the tactical display, 200 green markers representing his fleet began converging on the single red point of the human ship. Crixon settled into his command chair, expecting to watch a brief and one-sided execution. What he witnessed instead would haunt his remaining hours of life. The Defiance began to move. Not the slow, ponderous acceleration of typical warships, but something else entirely. The human vessel seemed to blur, leaving after images on the sensors as it accelerated at rates the Vexery had believed impossible. Within seconds, it had crossed the distance to the nearest destroyer group. "Fire all weapons," Crixon commanded. His ships responded with disciplined precision. Plasma lances and kinetic rounds filled the space where the Defiance had been moments before. But the human ship was no longer there. It had already moved, sliding between the energy beams with movements that defied rational physics. The destroyers tracked their target, adjusted their aim, fired again. They hit nothing but empty vacuum. Then the Defiance began firing back. The first destroyer exploded without warning. One moment it was a fully functional warship with a crew of 300. The next moment it was an expanding cloud of superheated debris. The second destroyer followed within heartbeats. Then the third. The human weapons were unlike anything in Vexery records. They punched through military-grade shielding as though it did not exist, coring through reinforced hulls with casual efficiency. "What are those weapons?" Crixon demanded. His voice had lost its earlier confidence. "Unknown, Admiral," the tactical officer replied. Fear had replaced professionalism in his voice. "Our databases have no match. The energy signatures are impossible." The Defiance continued its dance of death. It moved through the fleet like a predator through a herd of prey, never staying still long enough to be targeted effectively. Every shot it fired found its mark. Every maneuver carried it away from counterattacks. In the space of 10 minutes, 47 Vexery ships had been reduced to wreckage. Crixon watched his tactical display with growing horror. The green markers were vanishing faster than he could process. His fleet, his invincible fleet, was being dismantled by a single enemy vessel. The mathematics of the situation refused to make sense. One ship could not defeat 200. It violated every principle of naval warfare. The Defiance appeared directly in front of the Eternal Dominion. For a frozen moment, Crixon found himself staring at the crude human vessel through the viewport. It hung there, motionless, as if challenging him personally. Then it fired. The shot was not aimed at the flagship. Instead, it passed close enough for sensors to register, striking the heavy cruiser beside them. The cruiser's shields collapsed instantly, and the vessel split apart in a spectacular display of internal explosions. "They are playing with us," Trethax whispered. "They could have destroyed us with that shot." Crixon understood the message. The human captain wanted him to witness. He wanted the admiral to watch his fleet die, ship by ship, before the flagship's turn came. "All vessels retreat," Crixon commanded. "Emergency jump to hyperspace." The order went out, but escape proved difficult. The Defiance seemed to anticipate their movements. Ships that activated their jump drives found themselves suddenly targeted, destroyed before they could complete the transition to hyperspace. The human vessel was not merely fighting the fleet. It was hunting them. 1 hour after the battle began, 93 Vexery ships remained. 1 hour and 15 minutes later, that number had dropped to 31. By the 2-hour mark, only the Eternal Dominion and a handful of crippled escorts still survived. Captain Cole's face appeared on the view screen once again. He looked exactly as he had before, calm and untroubled. There was no sweat on his brow, no sign of stress or fatigue. He might have been attending a routine staff meeting rather than commanding a vessel in combat. "Admiral Crixon," Cole said. "As I mentioned before, we believe in sportsmanship. Your fleet has been neutralized. You may now surrender, or you may continue fighting. The outcome will be the same either way, but surrender allows your remaining crew to survive." Crixon stared at the human face on his screen. Pride demanded that he fight to the end. Honor required nothing less. But he looked around his bridge at the young officers under his command. They had families waiting for them on the homeworld. They had done nothing to deserve death in a hopeless battle. How? The word escaped before he could stop it. How is this possible? 1 ship against 200. Cole considered the question before answering. Admiral, your species has conquered 47 star systems using the same technology you developed 4,000 years ago. You found something that worked, and you stopped innovating. Humans do things differently. We never stop improving. We never stop preparing for the next threat. The Defiance is not an ordinary warship. It is the result of 2 centuries of continuous military development, designed specifically to counter numerical superiority. We learned long ago that we might face enemies with larger fleets. We adapted, but the weapons, the speed, our best minds spent generations solving problems your engineers never bothered to ask. We developed propulsion systems based on principles your scientists dismissed as theoretical. We created weapons that exploit weaknesses in conventional shielding that your species never investigated because your shields worked well enough. You assumed victory because you outnumbered us. You never considered that numbers might be irrelevant. Crixon felt something he had not experienced in decades. Genuine fear. Not of death, but of understanding. The humans were not lucky. They were not desperate. They had sent 1 ship because 1 ship was sufficient. Perhaps 1 ship was even excessive. There are more vessels like this one, Crixon said. It was not a question. Cole nodded. The Defiance is one of 300 ships in the Earth Defense Fleet. We have 12 vessels in this sector alone. I was closest, so I responded to the distress signal. If I had not been available, another ship would have come. 300 ships, each capable of destroying entire fleets. Crixon's mind struggled to process the implications. The Vexury hegemony had believed itself to be the dominant military power in the known galaxy. They had planned to expand into human territory, absorbing or eliminating the young species. They had assumed humans would be easy targets. Your surrender terms, Crixon said heavily. What are they? You will provide complete tactical and strategic information about the Vexury hegemony. You will transmit this encounter to your government so they understand exactly what they face. And you will recommend strongly that your leaders seek peaceful relations with humanity. We have no desire for conquest. We simply wish to be left alone. Attack us again, and we will respond with appropriate force. Crixon looked at the wreckage of his fleet on the tactical display. Nearly 200 ships destroyed. Thousands of warriors dead. All because they had assumed that numbers guaranteed victory. I accept your terms, the Admiral said. The transmission ended. Crixon remained in his chair, staring at the viewport. The Defiance was moving away, its mission complete. It had not even bothered to remain and supervise the surrender. The humans simply trusted that he would honor his word. That confidence was perhaps the most unsettling aspect of the entire encounter. Trethax approached carefully. Admiral, what will you tell the hegemony? Crixon was silent for a long moment. What could he tell them? That their entire military doctrine was obsolete? That a species they had dismissed as primitive had developed technology generations beyond Vexury capabilities? That the conquest they had planned would end in their extinction? The truth, he finally said. I will tell them the truth. We saw 1 ship and assumed victory. Our assumption proved fatal. He looked out at the stars where the Defiance had disappeared. Somewhere beyond those distant points of light, 300 more ships waited. 300 vessels that humanity had built while the galaxy ignored them. 300 reasons to reconsider every assumption the Vexury had ever made about war. The age of easy conquest was over. The humans had made certain of that. And the galaxy would never be the same.